Welcome, everyone. I'm Rhonda Uretsky. I am the owner of Riverflow Yoga, a hot yoga studio located in Lambertville, New Jersey, that is currently shuttered. I tend to think of it as napping, kind of tucked in and sleeping for a while, for everybody's safety. But that doesn't mean that our yoga stops. So here we are, all of us teachers from Riverflow Yoga, bringing yoga from our home studios right into your home. Today's class is called Soulful Stretching, and I'll be guiding you, whether you're a beginner in yoga, whether you're an advanced yogi, whether this is the first time you've ever tried yoga. I'll be guiding you in very, very gentle ways into deep stretches that really help you to feel a sense of release in your body and hopefully in your minds. I think it goes without saying, even though I will say it, we are dealing with situations that feel beyond our control right now, and of a magnitude that spans so many topics in our lives. Everything from your work life to your finances, your personal life, your personal well-being, that of your family and friends, what's going on potentially on the other side of the world. It affects travel. It affects your food supply. Just about everything, every topic in your life is being in some way shaken up. And by shaken up, I really love to use this beautiful embodiment of shaken up. So this is a glitter wand, very beautiful to look at, but sometimes when things start to shake up inside of you, it can feel very chaotic like this. And I really love the correlation here, because inside of you, there is a beautiful universe. There is a beautiful harmony of all sorts of ingenious things that are working together to keep you maintained at a state of well-being. But every now and then, and maybe more now, this internal life force that you feel can be very chaotic. It can feel really unpleasant. And oftentimes it's when you bump into some outside stimulus, right? Notice that this glitter wand, if I just allow it to settle, it will. Everything in it, beautiful bits of stars and moons and glitter and some yellow stuff, just sort of settles itself down. But again, all of this outside stimulation, whether you've had an incident this morning, whether you've read some news, whether you just wake up with things on your mind that worry you, it can feel very chaotic inside of you, and it's not pleasant. And it's not a very good place from which to live your life. It's this constant high state of stress. And let's face it, most of us were in a high state of stress before this pandemic hit. And now it seems like almost unmanageable. The chaos just comes at you from all sides. But there is one side of this situation that you absolutely have control over, and that's what's going on in here. How you manage your own thoughts, your own feelings, and your own reactions to things is completely up to you. Now, sometimes it doesn't feel like it. It feels like the worries that you have, the thoughts that you have are just sort of taking you down this rabbit hole and you have no control over it. And I'm going to say that you do, but it takes time, and it's a step-by-step process. And just as today in Soulful Stretching Yoga, we're going to go through these stretches, which are really very deep stretches, in a way that feels very step-by-step and very natural for you. This is the same way that you can begin to get hold of your thoughts. And be gentle and kind with yourself. Remember, this way that you have of reacting, this stress level, is something you've been practicing for a long, long time. And even though you can absolutely return to a place of calm and a place of well-being, because it is your natural state, and it never went anywhere. It's just there inside of you, and now you're getting a chance to reawaken it and feel how good it is to have that connection again. But you'll need to take it slowly, and by slowly, I don't necessarily even mean the pace of it. I mean your own self-judgment. You'll need to be kind to yourself, and not overlay more stress, more self-judgment on top of the stress that you're already feeling, because that's a step backwards. So what you'll do is you'll notice that you're having thoughts that are negative, thoughts that really don't feel good. I know people talk about venting and letting angry people have their say, but the truth is, it doesn't feel good for you, and it really doesn't feel good for them in the long run. It's practicing a state of agitation. So while anger has its place, it's a very momentary flare-up. Give it its moment, and then move yourself back into a state of well-being in any way that you can. And today, in Soulful Stretching, we're going to practice using the body for deep stretches that will move you back into that state of well-being. In your body, absolutely. You are going to feel more flexible, more mobile, freer in the way your body moves, perhaps pain-free or ache-free, even after one session of Soulful Stretching. But also, and maybe even more importantly, in your sense of well-being that you live out of. And that sense of well-being can't be located anywhere in particular. It's not anywhere in any of your organs or in your body. It's not really even in your brain. It's just the sense of well-being. And when you have this certainty, this sense of well-being, then your overall health benefits. You know, you don't wait until your body's completely dehydrated to take a drink of water. And you don't wait until you're completely emaciated to have some food. And we are fortunate that we're living in a place right now where food and water is available. And, you know, even if you did, it's possible that you can eventually bring your body back to a state of well-being, even from extreme dehydration. But it's much easier for you to recover, to maintain a healthy body than it is to recover after losing it. And I'm going to say that the same thing is true for your mental attitude, for your desire to feel good in your life and to feel happy in your life, and maybe even to feel uplifted. So maybe it's been a while since you have felt those things, and maybe you are now going on the dehydrated side of happiness. You're feeling a great lack of anything to feel good about in your life. It's okay. You can still very easily come back to that state, but take it step by step, and don't expect to jump from a place of despair to a place of bliss in one yoga class, in one meditation session, in one day. Give yourself the space that you need to come back to yourself. You know, that self that I'm talking about, this place of mental clarity and a feeling of calm and certainty, it is inside of you. It is your birthright. I have been teaching and practicing yoga and mindfulness for about 45 years, actually a little longer, but it's been a long, long time. And I have seen every kind of person be able to come back to recover the person that they want to be. And my idea is it's because that person was always there. You don't really have to work hard at it. You have to work softly at it. You don't get out there and pound your way to being a happier person. You gently tiptoe your way back to this path that really begins to feel very familiar to you. The better you feel, the more familiar feeling good becomes. That's the key to it. And by the way, you also want to enjoy the journey to getting your results, because this is not just about results, whether it's physical results you're looking for, or mental clarity, or emotional stability. You are living every moment stepping towards those goals. So why not enjoy the steps as well? Some people choose to beat themselves up all along the path. They're not there yet, and they're noticing what's wrong with them and what's broken and needs to be fixed. And that's what I call beating yourself up on the path to happiness. It doesn't even make sense. And understand also that feeling good about yourself is a choice. It's not dependent on any results that you get. It's not even dependent on conditions going on outside there, even though those are things that you want to be resolved. But the choice to feel good about yourself and to find something to feel happy about in this moment is just that. It's a choice. And it's a practice. Again, you might be very accustomed at this point to letting your attitude and your emotional state be dependent on whatever news you hear that day. That's just a habit. And if that habit's not serving you, and I promise you that it's not, health-wise, it is creating a condition inside of you that's very distressing to your organs and your body, and all of the wonderful healing mechanisms that you have inside of you that are just not being able to function when they are surrounded in this matrix of stress. So not only is it not serving you in terms of your physical health, it's not serving you in terms of your real goal, which is to be happy, to have a life that feels good to you. And it's not serving any of the people in your life that you love and want so much to help. The best service you can offer to anybody else is to be who you are, to be an example of somebody who is maintaining their sense of balance, their sense of calm, and even their sense of happiness, even in chaotic times. So, again, I want to reiterate that if you are not feeling calm or uplifted or happy in this moment, that's fine, right? Accept your starting point. Accept where you are and know that from that starting point, you can get to any place you want to be. And even in this moment of being in a starting point, you can make a decision right now as we begin this class that you are going to feel as good as you can possibly feel. In your body, in your mind, in your thoughts about yourself and others. You're just going to choose to only entertain those thoughts that actually make you feel good. And notice the ones that don't. And see if you can just put a pin in them for now. I'm not asking you to put them aside forever. That's way too big a jump, even for someone who's been a long-time practitioner. But see if you can just agree that if those thoughts come up, and they might, as we're doing these poses, thoughts about how you wish your body was more flexible or less achy, or you wish you'd started this practice a long time ago. Just agree to notice them and put a pin in them for now so that you can get on with the beautiful business of feeling good. Okay, so let's begin. Find a place where you can sit comfortably or lie down comfortably, your choice. You're going to always, in this practice of soulful stretching, be moving yourself towards what feels better in this moment, not what you think would be better for you based on any information that you've had prior to this moment, but what feels best for you in this moment. So for me, as a longtime yoga practitioner, I feel best sitting on the ground. I have a little yoga cushion under me so that my hips are tilted forward with my arms at my sides, resting my palms, the backs of my hands, on my knees. You might feel better sitting in a chair. And if you are, here's an additional benefit that you get. Place both feet on the ground and you will have an opportunity for your nervous system to settle, right? Grounding something, just like this glitter wand. Those 2 feet on the ground acts like this on your nervous system. It lets everything settle. If you choose to lie down, go ahead. Lie on your back. If that feels a little achy to your lower back, bend your knees up and place the soles of your feet on the ground. And if you're lying on the ground, you might try arms at your sides with your palms facing up. Let your heels touch and your toes flop apart. And if you've got your knees bent, you might try palms on your thighs with your elbow tips touching the ground. So as we progress in this practice, I'm going to give you very detailed little tips and tricks that I've gleaned over my 45 years of practice that actually feel really good for aligning your body. And you align your body to feel good, right? You're not doing it to achieve anything, not in this moment. In this moment, you're simply doing it to feel good. And I say simply as if that's a small thing. Feeling good is everything. It fuels your health internally, it fuels your attitude externally, and it really does give you the results that you want in every part of your life. So experiment a little with me. If you don't believe that right now, let's just experiment together for the next 45 minutes. So you have found your comfortable position, and we're going to start with breathing. In soulful stretching, breathing will go in and out through your nose, but you'll hear it like the sound of ocean waves in the back of your throat. I'm playing some ocean sounds to inspire you. Maybe you can hear them, but you'll hear it really strong in your own body. So inhale, your mouth is closed, you're breathing in through your nose, you're hearing it in the back of your throat. You know, it's almost as if there's a hole at the base of your throat and the breath comes in here, so it sounds like this. And as you exhale, just let your chin drop a little bit. Pull your collarbones wide apart. And as you come to the bottom of your breath, let your tailbone drop down and then up and under a little bit, as if you're tucking it towards your belly. Now, all of these little tips will work whether you're sitting on the floor, sitting in a chair, lying on the floor, lying in your bed. So try them again. Inhale, hear it in the back of your throat. And as you inhale, you will pull your collarbones wide apart. So notice when I'm doing it, there isn't any big strong movement that you can see, and there isn't any big strong movement that you'll feel on the external part of your body, but you will feel a great opening across your chest. That feels like freedom. And as you exhale, letting your chin drop, just so that you don't have the chin thrust. Most of us do. Most of us have a posture where our chin is a little bit thrust beyond our necks. So now you're bringing your head back on top. And when you get to that bottom of your breath, where your belly is empty, let your tailbone drop down and then tuck under, up and under, just slightly towards your belly. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, pull the collarbones wide. You can feel this internal traction happening across the collarbones as your collarbones become one long straight line. And exhale, drop your chin just a little. You're not trying to let your chin hang towards your throat, but you're getting that sense that your head is really settled on your neck as you deflate your belly, drop your tailbone, and tuck your tailbone a little bit up towards your belly again. And one more. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale. So if you take a moment now to just check in on how activated you might have felt when this class began and how you feel right now, you might begin to have the first glimpses of how breathing is such a powerful, simple technique to bring you back home to yourself. And I love to recommend this to people who tell me they don't have time for yoga or they don't have time to meditate. That's fine. Even that's a good starting place. Any place you start is a good starting place. But maybe you have time to set the timer on your phone to go off every half an hour or every 15 minutes if you'll allow yourself to sit back and take 3 deep breaths and then move ahead with the rest of your day. And if you experiment with this, you'll begin to notice that the things you actually do after taking 3 deep breaths turn out better. You're more productive, you're more focused, you're more yourself. And really, that's what you want. You want to be yourself. Not the self that you're self-deprecating all the time, not the self that you're beating up, the one beyond that, the one that really knows that you're fine as you are and you're here to live a good life. All right, so let's begin our soulful stretches by lying down. So you'll be lying on the ground. So if you were in a chair, stand up and bring yourself to the floor. I'm going to uncurl myself here as I lie down on your back. And take a moment to experience relaxation here in this lying down state. Oh, I'm going to take a moment to adjust my camera a little bit. Of course, you don't have to do that. You just get yourself into this beautiful lying down state. Arms at your sides, palms facing up. Let your heels touch. You won't be able to see mine, but follow the instructions for your heels to touch inward and your toes to flop outward. Pull your collarbones wide apart even here on the floor and tuck your chin towards your throat. And as you inhale, balloon your belly out. Pull your collarbones wide, tuck your chin down, and as you exhale, deflate the belly. Hear it in the back of the throat, still hearing that sound of the ocean, that Darth Vader breath. And then drop your lower back into an imaginary hand. Imagine somebody, like an expert masseuse, has slipped their hand under the small of your back, and they're asking you to just let yourself drop into it. So inhale, balloon your belly out. And as you exhale, deflate. Pull your collarbones wide. Keep your chin tucked. Keep your eyes looking down the middle of your body instead of towards the ceiling, and then drop your lower back into that expert massage hand. And now inhale, bend your right knee and bring your right knee towards your chest. Bring your arms in close to your body and pull hard with all 10 fingertips towards the wall in front of you as you tuck your chin into that hollow space between the collarbones. Feel that satisfying feeling of your shoulders pulling way down from your ears. It feels like a stretch. It might even feel a little like an ache, but there's something very satisfying about that pull. And then bend your elbow tips and clasp all 10 fingers 2 inches below your right knee. Now let your elbow tips begin to pull in towards your hips and down towards your hips, in towards your waist as you tuck your chin more. Inhale. And as you exhale, pull the elbow tips towards your hips and begin to guide your right knee towards your right armpit. So notice I'm not saying pull the knee in or force the knee in. Don't even insist that the knee comes into the armpit. You want to be present here, going slowly and feeling every little step. Right? We talked about enjoying the steps along the way. You're not just here for the ultimate result. It takes too long. You're here to enjoy every step in the direction of the results. And these little aches of stretches or openings that you feel right now will begin to feel pleasurable to you. Inhale, tuck your chin, pull your collarbones wide, draw your elbow tips way down towards your hips and squeeze them into your waist, especially the left one. See how it wants to creep over the rib cage? Bring it back. And then as you exhale, again, guiding your right knee to your right armpit. Now, physiologically, this pose opens your hips and it massages your ascending colon. So really great pose to do before or after eating, and then change. Bring the foot down, the sole of your foot, as you slide your right leg out to meet the left at the heels. And then bend your left leg. Place the sole of your left foot on the ground first, and then go ahead and draw the left knee towards your chest. Bring your arms in close to your body and begin to pull hard with all 10 fingertips towards that wall in front of you as you tuck your chin into that little hollow between your collarbones, and then bend the elbow tips and clasp all 10 fingers 2 inches below the left knee. As you again pull your elbows into your waist and down towards your hips, inhale, relax your outstretched leg, and as you exhale, tighten the webbing of your fingers and guide your left knee towards your left armpit. See if you can keep the right elbow tip in the right waist and both elbow tips pulling towards the hips. Now again, you're not better or worse at this pose because of the depth that you're able to achieve. You're here to enjoy the steps, and this truly is where the benefit of these poses is. It's not in getting to the end of them, not in getting to some results. It's in enjoying the steps, feeling the stretch, really beginning to feel this stretch register in your mind as freedom and mobility and calm and maybe even pleasure. Inhale, tuck your chin towards your throat, pull your collarbones wide and pull your elbow tips towards your hips, and as you exhale, guiding the left knee towards the left armpit. Now this is great for the left hip and the right hip. It's really good for the descending colon. You're massaging your own internal organs here. And then change. And bring the sole of the left foot to the ground. Slide the left leg out. Your arms are at your sides again. Palms facing up. And now inhale, bend both knees and place the soles of both feet to the ground and begin to walk your heels in close to your butt. So feeling that little tiny walking in and how it really impacts your stretched spine. How much more stretched you feel in your spine just by making those tiny little steps with your heels. Remember this, tiny little steps can give you tremendous flexibility in your body, whereas skipping these steps, you might miss this additional flexibility. So squeeze your legs together nice and tight, like you're trying to create a mermaid's tail from your hips down, one unit. Bring your arms in close to your body and pull all 10 fingertips again towards that wall in front of you as you tuck your chin towards your throat, and then rise up off your heels, squeezing your legs tight. Draw both knees to your chest, and then with your long stretched arms, wrap them around and grab whatever's available to you. It could be opposite elbow tips, keep your head on the ground. Could be forearms, wrists, might even be fingertips. Just try to grab something from your hands, not your legs. And as you inhale, tuck your chin, pull your collarbones wide apart. As you exhale, bring your shoulders away from your ears. Use your biceps to squeeze your legs together and draw both knees in towards your chest. Tucking your chin more and more. Maybe you're looking at that space where your knees meet. Keeping your legs together. So you're really giving yourself a beautiful internal massage. Feels like a really nice hug, and that's exactly what's happening for you. You're giving yourself this soothing hug, both externally and internally now as your transverse colon gets a great massage. So inhale, tuck your chin. Exhale, squeeze your legs together and draw them in close. Now, keeping your legs here, I want you to imagine that somebody has placed a board on your shins. Inhale, tuck your chin, and as you exhale and you draw the knees close to the chest, they begin to bear down on that board. So you feel your heels coming in closer towards your butt, and your whole body feels more compressed to the floor. And this is wonderful for stretching and lengthening your spine and giving another deeper massage to your transverse colon. And then release. Keep your knees to your chest. Bring your arms to your sides. Inhale. Relax your feet and exhale. Drop your lower back on the exhale. And now inhale, turn your palms to the ground and roll your arms under your body. So you're actually going to roll a little bit and get your hips on your wrists or forearms, and then relax your fingers under your body. And as you inhale, once again, begin to pull your heels towards the wall in front of you, flexing the toes towards your face. Now notice if it starts to keep your shoulders from pulling far apart, keeps them a little shrugged in, just pull your collarbones wide. And as you exhale, keeping your heels pulling forward, your toes pulling towards your face, very slowly, begin to lift your legs towards the ceiling, the soles of your feet holding up the ceiling, and keep your legs squeezed together so it feels like your legs are one unit. And then you're up at the ceiling and your heels are pulling towards the ceiling with your toes flexing towards your face. And your legs might be straight or your knees can be bent. Notice it can be either this way or this way. There's no better way, there's no worse way. It's just the way that feels like soothing for you in this moment. No matter which is happening, whether your legs are bent or straight, you're getting a beautiful draining here of all the blood flow from your lower extremities, from your legs. It's a really beautiful moment for all these veins to get a really nice restorative break. And all of this beautiful blood flow coming into your hips. So for my friends who are watching here today, Elise, I hope you're with us. This is a really beautiful restorative pose for your hip surgery, depending on what state of recovery you're in. And you might want to put your legs up against the wall to do this, but this blood flow into the hips can be just what you need to feel that extra soothing. Pulling from the heels, flexing the toes towards the face, stretching out the fascia on the bottoms of your feet. So for my runner friends, this is beautiful to keep the bottoms of your feet in good shape, right? No plantar fasciitis for you. You've got this beautiful stretching going on. And inhale, pull from your heels, flex your toes. See if you can rotate your kneecaps a little bit in towards each other. And then as you exhale, slowly pulling from the heels, flexing the toes towards your face, keeping your stomach sucked in, you'll begin to lower your legs. Now you can imagine that your legs are being held up by the ankles by this pulley system from the ceiling, and the ropes are lowering you down. So you can really afford to go slowly and watching and feeling every step. As you inhale, you continue to pull your heels forward, let your toes flex towards your face, rotate your kneecaps in, and as you exhale, let the rope lower you down. So taking it slow, keep your stomach sucked in, keep your collarbones pulling wide apart, noticing that they might want to curl in. That's just an old stress habit. This one's going to feel much better. Inhale, pull your heels, flex your toes towards your face, draw your collarbones wide, and as you exhale, lowering down, letting that rope system just lower you slowly. It begins to feel like a little ride you're taking. The effort is gone. The satisfaction begins to take the place of struggle. And eventually your heels will touch down, and when they do, lift your hips lightly, roll your arms out from under, palms facing up. You can begin to feel the tingle coming back into your arms, the life force, the energy, the blood flow. And you're in Shavasana. Heels touch, toes flopped apart, collarbones wide, chin tucked. Inhale, balloon your belly out. And exhale, deflate. Deflating down into your lower back, where you will drop yourself into that massage hand. And now inhale, turn your palms to the ground again and bring your arms back underneath your body. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Let your hands be relaxed and begin to squeeze your shoulder blades together under you. So you feel the weight of your body coming into your elbow tips. Pull your toes, all 10 toes, towards the wall in front of you, locking your thighs. And as you inhale, tuck your chin, squeeze your shoulder blades together. And as you exhale, slowly begin to lift your breastbone towards the ceiling. Now, if you have a neck that feels a little twingy, this is where you'll stop. Just focus on lifting the breastbone up, squeezing the shoulder blades together. But if not, as you inhale, lifting your breastbone up, begin to take the weight of your body into your elbow tips deliberately and let your head come up off the mat. Now, there's no pressure on the top of your head. There'll always be some space between your head and the ground or your mat as you hang your head back. Pull your toes forward and begin to feel like you want to pull your chin towards the wall that you're seeing. Pulling your toes in one direction, your chin in the other direction. Keep your shoulder blades squeezing together, feeling the lift of your breastbone. Head back, chest up, pull, and then change. Slowly allowing your head to come back to center, your elbow tips to lower you back to the ground. The back of your head will touch first, then your shoulder blades. Then roll your arms out from under and be in Shavasana. Heels are touching, toes flopped apart, chin tucked a little bit. Your arms are at your sides with your palms facing up. Now, sometimes we hold our shoulders like this, but if you begin to pull your collarbones wide apart, you're just going to feel the satisfaction of this. And inhale. Exhale, hearing it in the back of your throat as you drop your lower back to the ground. You will begin to move towards things that feel satisfying in your body. And those old habits, those things that gave you stress or physical aches, are going to melt away because your body always moves towards a state of well-being. If you simply remember that and encourage it and feel good about what you're doing, that habit will come back. And the other one, the resistance habit, the stress habit, the forcing habit, the struggle, that one will just become an old memory. Inhale, bend both knees. Place the soles of your feet to the ground and bring your hands into prayer position in front of your chest. Pull your elbow tips down and towards your hips and into your waist, and tuck your chin into that little hollow between the collarbones as you bring your knees towards your chest. Relax your feet, but squeeze your legs together tight as you press your palms together tightly. Inhale. And as you exhale, slowly begin to roll over onto one side. So keeping it slow, right? You want to be present for every movement here. Feeling every part of your massage. And that's what's happening as you're rolling over, getting this beautiful massage in your body. And then when you're all the way over, let's see if I can readjust my positioning for you. Place your palms in that prayer hand position under your forehead, the side of your forehead. Draw your elbow tip way over your body. Tuck your chin way in, right into that little hollow space between the collarbones. Draw your knees to your elbow tips. Let your shoulders sort of shrug with this soft relaxation as you breathe here. Inhale. And as you exhale, turn your palms to the ground. Look at the backs of your hands. And with this beautiful serpentine twist of your spine, you push yourself up. And we'll come to all fours, doing cat-cow. All right, so you'll be on all fours. Your wrists, your hands are 6 inches apart, and your wrists should be directly under your shoulders. See how mine are not? See how my wrists are a little further than my shoulders? It sort of looks like they are when you look down at them. So always bring them back a little more than you think would be directly under the shoulders, and then they will be. Separate your knees so they line up with your wrists, and then your feet are directly behind you, lined up with your knees. Now lock your arms at the elbows. Try not to have any of this going on. And lock your elbows, rotating them inward. See how your arms are so interesting? You have these two bones that cross over each other. And when you do this with your arms, that's what's happening. Those two bones are crossing over. So lock your elbows and rotate them in. And as you inhale, slowly begin to lift your face, chin, neck, face, chest parallel to the wall in front of you. Drop your belly to the ground and stretch your tailbone up to the ceiling, keeping your elbows locked, right? Sometimes as you stretch, they want to do this, lock them out, and stretch your tailbone, not only to the ceiling, but feel like you'd like it to touch the back of your head, even while your head stays steady. And then as you exhale, locking your elbows, begin to drop your chin into your throat, round your middle back, suck your stomach in. Let the middle back touch the ceiling now. And inhale, slowly begin to lift your chin, neck, face. Lock your arms at the elbows and rotate them in, shoulders away from your ears. Drop your belly, stretch your tailbone. Feel it touch the ceiling and curl backwards a little bit to touch the back of your head, even while your face stays parallel to the front wall. And then exhale. Drop your chin, nestle the chin between the collarbones in that little hollow space as you round your middle back to the ceiling. Really take a moment here to round your middle back up and then inhale. Chin up, face front, breastbone parallel to the front wall. Drop your belly to the earth and stretch the tailbone up and feel like you're curling it backwards a little bit towards the back of your head. And then exhale, drop your chin, wedge it between your collarbones, straighten your arms, lock your elbows and round your middle back to the ceiling. And then inhale, back to tabletop position. So now you're in a neutral place. And then separate your knees 8 to 10 inches apart. Place your fingertips on the ground beside your knees. Try not to make your palms come to the ground. Now it's your fingertips. And then looking down at the ground, bend your elbow tips and slowly begin to lower your body down. Keep your elbow tips pulling towards your hips as you feel the spot between your eyebrows touch and you allow your breastbone to drop down to the ground. And when you're all the way down, bring your arms to your sides, bend your elbow tips, let your shoulders slump, and breathe here. See if you can bring your big toes together in kind of a V shape behind you as you inhale. And exhale. You're going to feel a beautiful stretch in your middle back down to your lower back. Just go ahead and allow the stretch to happen, knowing that it's a really powerful and positive healing thing for you. No struggle in it, so don't resist it. And then as you inhale, bend your elbow tips, place your fingertips on the ground beside you. Bring yourself back up for a moment, sitting hips to heels. And then bring your arms forward. We're going to lie down on the belly. So lying down on your belly, put your chin on the mat and bring your palms directly under your shoulders. So you can test this. If you draw your shoulders down, the tips of your fingers should disappear. Okay, I'm going to readjust for you a little bit more, but I think we're good. You don't have to do any of this adjusting. You just follow these instructions with your chin on the mat. Let your elbow tips begin to pull towards your hips and lock your legs together. So squeeze your legs by pressing down on the tops of your thighs and tops of your feet so your kneecaps actually pop up off the mat, and rotate those kneecaps in. And as you exhale, begin to lift your chin, neck, chest. Keep your elbow tips pulling towards your hips, and notice that you're not doing a push-up here. In fact, you can lift your hands off the mat. You are engaging your lower back in this beautiful curl, cobra pose. And then change. Gently, slowly, taking it slow, keeping your elbow tips pulling towards your hips. Lower your chin to the mat. And then turn your head to the right. Bring your arms to your sides, palms facing up, elbow tips bent, big toes touch inward, heels splayed apart. You're in your frontal Shavasana. Breathe here. Inhale. And exhale. So that was a lower back strengthening pose, and now we're going to work the middle and upper back. Salabhasana pose. Chin on the mat again. Turn your palms to the ground and bring your arms under your body. So palms are touching the ground, not your thighs. Pull your collarbones wide, even while you're trying to match the blades of your pinky fingers together under your body. Chin on the mat. Relax your left leg. Point your right toes. Lengthen your right leg and lift it up. And as you slowly lift the leg, keep your right hip bone connected to your right forearm. So lean to the right a little bit. Pull from your toe. Your leg is totally locked as you lift and then change. Relax the leg. The right leg down. Begin to pull from your left toe. Lengthen the left leg and then lift. Keep lengthening as you're lifting. Keep pulling from your left toe. Keep your left hip bone connected to your left forearm as you lift and change. And lowering slowly. And then roll your arms out from under. And now you can turn your head to the left. I'll continue to turn to the right. So I'm looking at the camera. And you're in your frontal Shavasana with your arms at your sides. Palms facing up. Big toes touch inward. Heels are splaying out. You can almost feel your ankle bones getting closer and closer to the mat as you inhale. And exhale. And now full locust pose. Place your chin on the mat and bring your arms out in a T position. Once again, I'm doing some adjusting, but you're just doing the T position. So you'll pull from the ends of your fingertips, feeling like you actually want to touch the opposite side of your room, the opposite sides, pulling hard. And squeeze your legs together, pressing the tops of your thighs and tops of your feet down to the mat so that your kneecaps have popped up off the mat and you can rotate them inward. So now you're pulling from all your extremities, fingertips, all 10, toes, all 10, with your legs locked. As you inhale your breath, pull. And as you exhale, fly. Keep pulling from the fingertips and toes. Keep the legs locked, the arms locked, and lift. Your chin, neck, chest, keep pulling from the fingertips. Keep lifting, seeing if you can imagine your hands coming over your head, but pulling, lifting, and change. Lowering down slowly. When your chin lands, bring your wings back in and turn your head to the right. And here you are again in frontal Shavasana. Inhale. Let your elbow tips bend so your shoulders feel like they're slumped. But you're not actually shrugging your shoulders, you're just not holding them down. And exhale, allowing your heels to separate more, feeling like your ankle bones are just being pulled to the ground by gravity. And inhale. And exhale. And now, placing your fingertips on the ground beside you, chin on the mat. Bend your elbow tips, pull towards your hips. Place the tops of your feet on the ground. And see if you can just lightly press into your fingertips and bring yourself back into all fours position again. And we will do Supta Vajrasana, fixed firm pose. Now, you're going to have many, many stages of this pose. And remember that as I give you the instructions, you are feeling for the stage that your body feels soothed in this moment. And I promise you that in every stage of this pose, you are getting tremendous healing benefits. You do not have to push yourself to the end result of this pose, to the deepest depth of this pose, in order to get benefits that are available for you today. So, sitting hips to heels, begin to separate your heels, placing your fingertips on the ground beside you. Raise yourself up into your biceps, and then wiggle your hips down between your heels. Now, if your hips don't make it to the ground today, that's fine. You stay right where you are and just keep wiggling your hips. And as you do this wiggle, imagine that you're tracing an infinity symbol. You get a little bit of a hula dance going on here. This is very soothing, this movement for your hips, for your knees, for your ankles, for your feet. So go ahead and enjoy it. This is your benefit today. When your hips touch the ground, and that's eventually or today, whatever it is, place your right palm on your right sole with your fingertips towards your heels, left palm on left sole. Begin to lift your chest. Again, I'm going to just reposition myself. Hang your head. Lift your chest. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Reach for your elbow tips to the ground. Let your elbow tips come down. When your head lightly grazes the mat, you will tuck your chin, lie down on your back, and bring your arms overhead, holding the opposite elbow tips. And again, in this pose, you might feel an intense stretch on the tops of your thighs. Don't be afraid of it. Intense stretching becomes intense pleasure if you just breathe with it. Now remember, pain is a different story. If you feel pain, bring yourself up out of any pose that you might be in and go to the less deep iteration of the pose. And now coming out of this pose, elbow tips on the ground, lean into your forearms and lifting your chest, bringing yourself up slowly so that you can feel your spine stacking itself back. And now a moment for child's pose. So hips to heels, bend your elbow tips beside you. This time we'll keep the knees together and slowly begin to lower yourself down with your forehead to the mat. Arms at your sides, palms facing up. And breathe in here. Inhale. And exhale. And now fingertips to the mat. Pull your elbow tips towards your hips. Let your head hang as you very lightly bring yourself back up. Head comes up last. Beautiful seated position, hips on your heels. Let's do some separate leg stretching. So bring your right leg out, about 45 degrees angle. The sole of your right foot towards the wall at your side. And as you inhale, bring your arms overhead, clasp all 10 fingers into a net over your head, and then pull the knuckles up towards the ceiling to lengthen your arms. Turn towards your outstretched leg, and as you exhale, you'll be throwing this net over the ball of your foot and dropping your forehead to your knee. Now, if you need to bend your knee to get the net on the ball of your foot and forehead to knee, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. If your leg is straight, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. No judgments. Just noticing what gives you the most sense of soothing today. And holding all 10 fingers on the ball of the foot, let your elbow tips bend. So you've got these really tight fingers and then these spaghetti arms, right? The elbow tips are bending as you drop the forehead to the knee. And then inhale and bring yourself back up. Keep that net intact. And then you'll alternate the legs. We're going to use the abdominal wall to alternate the legs. Keep the arms out of this. So left leg is out 45 degrees to the side and the sole of the right foot tucked up against the inner left thigh. Now when I bend over, I'm going to go completely out of frame. So you stay right here. I'm just going to readjust myself a little bit so that you can see the posture a little better. Stretch to the ceiling. Keep those knuckles pulling to the ceiling. Turn towards your outstretched leg. Lean it back a little. And then as you exhale, you'll throw the net over the ball of the foot. Drop the forehead to the knee. Make sure the forehead touches the knee. So if you have to bend your knee up, go ahead. Make sure all 10 fingers stay in the net. So you can do this by pulling your shoulders a little more forward. And if you drop your elbow tips, it will relax your traps and you'll be able to get all 10 fingers in that net. So when I give you these little tips and tricks, it's not to make you perfect. It's to help you to feel the soothing of this pose. Forehead to knee. And then change. And bring that net up overhead. And now let's do the double leg. So bring your legs together and lean back a little bit. And then as you exhale, throw yourself over. Take your first two fingers and hook them between your first two toes. And then holding the toes, walk your hips backwards. So you're going to think about that figure eight as you're walking backwards, doing that figure eight with your hips, kind of a rocking motion. Now your first two fingers hooked between your first two toes, and you are looking at the wall in front of you. Lock your arms. And as you inhale, lift your chest and let your chin drop to a neutral place. And as you exhale, flatten the backs of your knees to the mat. Now you can notice that my legs are straight, but yours might be bent, so that's fine. Just stay right here. And every time you exhale the breath, you can say to yourself, relax my knees, relax my knees. And eventually the legs will be straight. And you'll know the legs are really locked out because you can pull on the toes a little and the heels will hover. So if that's happening for you now, I'm going to take you to another depth of this pose. And if it's not, be okay with where you are. So inhale, lift your chest. Shoulders down, collarbones wide. And as you exhale, relax your knees, flatten the backs of your knees to the mat. And if your heels are hovering, looking at the wall in front of you, bend your elbow tips and draw your chest towards the wall in front of you. So keeping your back flat, right? I'm going to show you the side view on this. There is a pose where you round the back on this, but here we want to send you off with a nice, strong, long spine. So if you're pulling, and you'll only be pulling if the legs are straight and the heels are hovering, you lead with the breastbone. And your back looks like a skateboard ramp, right? Really nice and flat. And oh my goodness, you can just feel the freedom in your spine. Beautiful. And then turn around and lie down in Shavasana. Lying on your back with your arms at your sides and your palms facing up, let your heels touch, let your toes flop apart, pulling your collarbones, dropping your chin, looking not at your ceiling, but sort of down the midline of your body. Keep your collarbones pulled wide as you inhale, balloon belly out. And exhale, drop your lower back into that hand slipped under the small of your back. Now we're going to try a yoga sit-up. If you have a bad back, you don't have to do this. You can bend your knees, place your hands in prayer position, and roll yourself over, pushing yourself into a seated position. But if not, here's the yoga sit-up. Inhale, arms overhead. Flex your feet, stretch your body, take the breath in, hold your breath, and sit up. Reach for the ceiling. And then reach forward, grab your big toes, looking at the wall in front of you, again with that nice flat skateboard ramp back, double jerk at your elbows, double exhale through your mouth, shh, and then drop, forehead to knees. All right, we're going to end with a beautiful spinal twist. Spinal twisting sounds scary, but I want you to imagine that your spine is made to twist. Your spine can move in 360-degree directions. It's just not our normal thing that we do every day, so it sounds like it would be scary. But when you do it, it feels beautiful. So, bend your left knee, so the left knee will point towards the camera. If you know that you have a knee that aches or a hip that's a little bit tender, you can also keep your left leg straight out. I'll be bending mine. Bring your right leg up and over. So your right heel is against the left knee corner, and this is only true for people who have the knee bent. You'll pull your heel out from under you and make sure that right hip is settled to the ground. So you might have to wiggle it down a little bit, so that's fine. Now I'm going to give you a side view on this pose. It looks like this. Good. Okay, now bring your right arm behind you. It'll be flat against your spine. Your left arm comes up right by your ear, right at 12 o'clock. Bend at the elbow, come down around the outside of this bent knee. With your elbow, push the knee out of the way and reach down to grab the very top edge of your towel or mat. And again, if you're more of a practitioner, you can slip your hand under the bent knee only if the knee doesn't have to be pulled up to get it there. So again, this is not a contest, It's not a competition, not even with yourself. It's just a checking in on what is available for you today. As you inhale, lift your chest and pull your collarbones long and wide. And as you exhale, drop your chin and look over your right shoulder. So this is a little game you're playing. The game is you want to see your right shoulder, but you can never let yourself see your right shoulder. So the moment you catch a glimpse, you just keep pulling that shoulder back and then go looking for it more. Use that elbow to push the knee away and twist and change. And now we'll alternate. So bending the right knee or keeping the right leg straight. The left leg is up and over, the heel against the knee corner. Again, if your knee is bent, you start by pulling the heel out and settling the left hip down. So both hips are really square to the ground. You can tell because you can't fit your fingers under your hips. You know your hips are square and balanced. Now your left arm comes behind you and your right arm comes up by your ear. Reaching for 12 o'clock, bend the elbow, come down around the outside of the knee, push the knee out of the way, grab hold of the top edge of your towel or mat, or slip your hand under your knee when your knee doesn't come up off the mat. And I'll turn for a better view for you guys. So as you inhale, lift your chest, draw your collarbones nice and wide, and as you exhale, drop your chin and go looking for that left shoulder, and then play that little teasing game, right? You're looking for it, you can almost see it, now pull your shoulder away and look for it again and keep your chin down and you feel the twist. It's a beautiful twist. And then change. And coming back to center. Now lie down for a moment and we'll take a final Shavasana here. And I'll actually be sitting to talk you through this final Shavasana. But you go ahead and lie down on your back, arms at your sides, palms facing up. Heels are touching, your toes are flopped apart. Tuck your chin, pull your collarbones wide, and take a deep breath. Inhale, balloon your belly out. And exhale, deflate the balloon. Allow yourself to drop your lower back into that hand. It's a healing hand. It's just encouraging you to drop down into it and enjoy it. So inhale. Deep sound in the back of your throat as you balloon your belly out. And as you exhale, deflating the balloon, tucking your chin, maybe closing your eyes and dropping your lower back. And inhale, balloon your belly out. And exhale, deflate the balloon, drop your lower back into that hand. And take a moment here to sort of check in and acknowledge and enjoy how you feel right now. This is why you are doing this, to maintain, of course, your physical health. But sometimes I like to tell people who are longer time practitioners that your physical health is almost like a side benefit. Although it's actually a tangent benefit, right? You get so many benefits from this practice. And the one that you will feel immediately, you might not be able to change the shape of your body in an instant. You might not be able to lose 20 pounds overnight. You might not be able to heal a chronic condition or a pain in your body in just a few yoga classes, although you might. But what you will feel instantly is this feeling that you have right now that you are more yourself than you have felt in maybe many days or many weeks or many years. Notice that even if it's many years since you felt this kind of calm and softness and resonance with your own spirit, notice that comes back instantly. Now, will you lose it the moment yoga class ends? Maybe. Maybe not. It doesn't matter. You know, this is not like a college degree. This is not like something you practice and then you get the diploma and you hang it on your wall and it's now yours forever. Yoga is a practice. It's a constant practice of returning home to yourself. And I can't imagine a better thing that you'd want to practice every day, every moment that you can stop and take a deep breath. You are in this practice of feeling as good as you can feel, not only in your body and about your body, but in your life. And I promise you, That's the reason you want a good feeling body. That's the reason you want to be flexible or lose weight or heal your health situations, because you want to enjoy your life. Well, take a moment and notice how much more you're enjoying your life right now by breathing deep, having done this practice that gave you a little bit of your life back right now. Thank you for joining me today for Soulful Stretching. Here at River Flow Yoga, we are offering yoga classes every day here on Facebook Live with a variety of amazing teachers. You'll find us here 2 and 3 times a day, morning, noon, night, even late nights. If you'd like to know our schedule, you can find it on our website, riverflow-yoga.com/schedule, or just like our page. And if you keep Facebook open while you're going about the business of your day, it'll just pop up, and you'll notice if you're drawn to join us for this beautiful return to your own spirit, and just wait till you see how wonderful your body feels. Thank you for joining me. Om Shanti, peace and happiness to you. You deserve both. It's your birthright.